Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our On Point podcast. I am Mark McKee, head of Viewpoint School, and today I have something very special for you. We have three incredible alumni who grew up right here on this campus as student athletes, who went on to build successful careers in business, and now all of them are back as parents, raising the next generation of Viewpoint patriots. These days, all three of these alumni are giving back in their own way to ensure that Viewpoint continues to be a place where excellence thrives. In fact, we're preparing to celebrate Giving Tuesday on December 2nd, a day created to bring back the spirit of giving during the holidays. You'll hear more about this global movement later in the podcast. But let's start by having each of you introduce yourselves, your graduating year, what sports you played, and what your children are up to at Viewpoint today. Cheney, let's start with you.
Sure. Cheney Sheffield. I'm class of 98. I was a lifer, junior kindergarten, all the way through. My kids, I have three currently at Viewpoint. Ella in 7th, Bennett in 5th, and Henry in 3rd. And then I have one warming up in the bullpen for kindergarten next year, Eve. So I'm super excited to be back. You know, about 14 years of childhood here, and it feels the same, right? It's the tradition connects us, and innovation propels us. It's just walking through, seeing the kids go through many of the experiences I did, and it's just a better version of it, and it's really exciting.
Cheney, thank you.
I am Crystal Dry Murphy, class of 2003 with Scott. I have 4 kids here. I have triplets in 1st grade. Cole, Kylie, and Cody, and then I have my oldest daughter, Kennedy, in 4th grade, and actually my brother's also here in 11th grade, Brody. Just Viewpoint has been such a big part of my life. We've stayed connected with the school all the way through. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so it's kept me physically connected to Viewpoint over time.
Continuously,
and
right?
Continuously.
Without a break.
I got to give a shout out to my mom, Peggy Jones, for making a great decision about 36 years ago where to send me for kindergarten. Started a long legacy. Happy to be here.
Great, and I'm Scott Tate. I'm also a class of 2003. I was 1st grade through 12th grade, but before that started at Meadow Oaks for kindergarten, so I've seen a different side of things as well.
I think we wrap you in as a lifer if you were at Meadow Oaks.
Close enough.
I think that counts too.
I have 2 children at Viewpoint, Finley and Charlie, that are in 4th and 3rd grade. We joined last January after the Palisades fire, and were welcomed in and have had such an amazing experience since, and it's so good to be back.
Scott, I remember seeing you at school. It was halfway through. We had an assembly, and I come out, and we hadn't met all the new fire families yet. And I'm like, Scott, what are you doing here? And then we have kids in the same class now.
It was amazing between, people that I knew that I didn't even know that I knew were still around at Viewpoint, staff, a lot of other alumni and parents. It immediately felt like home. And my kids also knew, I better not mess around. Like, people know who my dad is here, so that's keeping them on edge.
Well, we're happy you're here.
Your boys immediately understood that you were connected to this place?
They immediately took to it. They had heard stories before, and they come home every day off the bus with a big smile on their face. And so my wife is also incredibly, happy and supportive of having made the decision, and we're loving it. So it's really great to be back.
I've only been in this community for 11 years, and I think about the fact that I came to this school 10 years after you graduated, and even more than that since you graduated, Cheney. And yet I'm just really blown away by the opportunity to talk to you as parents at Viewpoint who also had the unique experience of coming through here as students. So let's talk about your memories. When you think about your time at Viewpoint, what stands out the most? Maybe a moment, a teacher, a coach who made a lasting impact. In this room, I ask this very question of seniors when I have lunch with them. I ask what's going to be the thing that stands out when you look back. So, what stands out from your Viewpoint experience?
Me first?
Yeah.
Well, 14 years is a long time, so it's hard to single out any one experience. And one actually comes from last night. So Mark had us at a board meeting last night. We had 4 incredibly talented student athletes come and speak to us. And they were asked that question, like, what is one of the most memorable experiences? And their answers, my heart was so warmed. It's exactly the same as my answer would have been in 1998. And it's that there isn't just one. There are many coaches and teachers who make you truly, who love you. Like, they support you, they have your back, and they really put you in a position to succeed and thrive. And that really touched me, because that's how I defined my 14 years from 1984 to 1998. And to have the captain of the football team, who was a lifer, say the exact same thing here, however many years later, is what makes Viewpoint special.
It's funny you say that, because I was beginning to question my memory of a specific instance. I couldn't come up with one because there's so many, and similar to what you were saying, we're here for so long that when I think back about what it was, what those memories are, it's more of a feeling of belonging, happiness, support. And I also wanted to be really careful, because there are a lot of people that have had a big impact on a lot of us. And, I don't want to miss somebody, because there are so many. But I will say, as some of us, all of us, were pretty big into sports all year round, that my coaches were a huge part of my life, especially in high school, but even before. And I think they've had probably the biggest impact on me from this school as anybody.
I do want to jump in that some of them are still here. And, so I will shout out to some of them that are still here.
And some of them are coaching our kids now.
Or just left, or actually coached our own kids in the exact same sport. So, last year, both my son and my niece were able to play baseball for Coach Pontello, who was a fixture here forever. And, from the kindergartners loved them all the way through the seniors. That was a particularly special moment. And then Coach Moyel, also an absolute, legend and fixture of the athletic department, who impacted so many of us greatly. And then, I still see Mr. Azar running around the math department, and I will say I will often say he is one of the best teachers I've ever had, as far as teaching you logic, being organized, collecting your thoughts, and there are so many, and we obviously already had done a podcast for Kathy Edelman, so the continuity is amazing.
Yeah, I completely echo all those thoughts, and I want to seize on 2 words that you guys said, which was community and belonging. And like you, having spent a very long time, it's hard to boil it down to one moment, but I had a brother and a sister who also went to Viewpoint. My brother was 2 years older, my sister was 5 years younger. My parents were involved and in the school. And one thing I remember feeling was, Viewpoint's campus is stretched over a longer period of space, and you could be in different parts of the campus, and there'd be people you would know who would say hi to you just walking by on their day, and where it's big enough that you're able to explore new things all the time and really grow as a person, but small enough that you're seeing friendly faces and you feel like you belong. That is, I think, really, really hard to imitate. And even though Viewpoint has grown since we went to school, I think the fact that that feeling still exists with a lot of the people I speak with is really testament to the very intentional growth that has occurred.
Yeah, ground us a little bit in Viewpoint history. Cheney, how many seniors in your graduating class in 98?
All of 36.
36, and
we were 65, I think.
Yeah.
By 2005,
2003.
65.
2003.
2003.
Yeah.
And now we have 120 plus seniors every year at Viewpoint School.
It's amazing.
It's interesting because now most of your children, not all, are in primary and lower school, which is the historic Viewpoint campus all the way back to the 60s. But you didn't attend Viewpoint on the campus that's now the middle and upper school. and yet, you have a child in middle school, and yet you come to a campus now that is transformed and grown, and yet it sounds like it feels the same.
It does. That feeling is the same. I do love driving down the primary school carpool hill. That used to be our hill charge hill.
Oh, yes, the hill
I
charge.
just, every day, that makes me so happy.
Wow. Hill charge.
Hill charge in the car.
Everybody misbehaving, you had to just run up the hill.
So
run back down.
that hill had not happy memories for students in the day. Is that right?
No, they're happy
No,
now.
it's happy.
They're happy now.
Yeah, a lot of times, the kids just, we were getting out of hand, and it'd be hill charge, and
Hill
everyone would
charge.
scream and yell and run up the hill. It was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, the facilities obviously have gotten better and better, state of the art, everything. We didn't have a lot of these new things back then.
I would have
but-
killed for the makerspace back
I
then.
know,
My
right?
son loves that. I mean, the innovation space. I mean, the classrooms. I mean, we were in little trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, we had. There was the metal ramps that you would walk and you'd feel it bouncing and you'd hear it from inside the classroom. The facilities now are very, very impressive. But it is the oak trees, which I know you can't touch anyway. The oak trees are the same.
But the feeling is the
feeling
same.
and the air and the vibe and the atmosphere.
The values.
And there's continuity on the campus as well, right? I think as we talked about intentional growth, you see things like Blaney Patio, you see other hallmarks of the campus that have remained. The Ecolet's another great example. Like, it's transformed over the years, but it's still kind of there on campus as a center point. It's being used in a lot of interesting and creative ways, and you immediately see that and prompted this flood of memories of ninth grade science experiments you're having to do, and
You have memories of the creek?
Of the creek, exactly.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's not like you just bulldoze and build something new.
But as a
you're
good
retaining the good and you're adding to it.
good addition to that, we also used to have our batting cages right next to all that, and now we have all this amazing workout rooms and
Here's the
field
story.
down there.
The baseball team in 1994 built those batting cages by hand with Coach Pontello.
Oh, wow.
I don't think that would fly nowadays, Mark. I don't know. I keep
I-
trying.
I
to
think we
say
have
we
we
could
have
do little things.
OSHA regulations and
Yeah.
school
That was
insurance companies.
Voluntary weekends with shovels and sandbags
that's amazing.
and putting up chain link.
Well, thank you, because we use
it
those
was
in
very
softball.
fun.
Yeah, in fact, those uprights from those batting cages are, in fact, the supports for that shade structure that is in the Ecolet that became our outdoor classroom for music during COVID.
They might have been improved, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same location.
All of you were student athletes. How did sports influence your Viewpoint experience, and how did it influence who you are today?
Why don't you go first this time?
Sure. I loved the size of Viewpoint again was really good, because you had people who were really excellent at things in sport and in other things, but also you didn't need to be the best at the best and be very pointed in a single activity to be able to define yourself. And so it was great seeing people coming from all different backgrounds of different skill levels throughout middle school and up into high school. I ended up playing on the football team, the soccer team, and I was a founding member of the boys swim team, which we started off a bit ragtag. I understand now they've gone like 20 years of first place CIF division champions.
You were a founding
Something
member
crazy.
of the boys swim team.
Exactly.
Last spring, our boys swim celebrated its 20th consecutive league championship.
Yeah, it's incredibly
Look at you,
impressive.
Scott.
Almost all the way back to the team you started.
I'll take credit for that.
Yeah.
But it was great, and as you would expect, teamwork, spirit, leadership skill development on these things, really, really important, and something that's carried with me for a very long time.
Yeah, I think I echo pretty much exactly what you said. Played volleyball, basketball, and softball. And yeah, the leadership skills, the team working, playing with people of different levels, learning, and then also the time management of playing sports and then needing to get your homework done and being in the band and, learning how to really manage your time.
Yeah, totally agreed. I mean, again, when I was there, our senior class was 36, so it was 8-man football. Mm-hmm. My dad didn't let me play football, but I did cross country. I did cross country, soccer, and baseball, and it was fun. It was a time period where we really started gaining a lot of momentum in the athletic department, where it was really kind of ragtag, And then I think my 4 years of baseball, we were undefeated in the league and started rattling off league championships, went from the Heritage League to the Liberty League, and to see where all the programs continue to progress is just so awesome, and the success that our track and cross country team are having and the swim team. And, it's another strength of Viewpoint. I think we continue to push and get better, but to Scott's point, it's like you don't necessarily want to be the team where you can only play if you're going to be a Division I scholar, athlete. You can play multiple sports and get all the benefits that we've talked about what sports life lessons, and it fits in perfectly with our ideals, right? Like love, you've got to love the game. You got to respect your teammates, the bonds you form, excellence, just the discipline of time management, and just learning that, as I put work in, I directly get work out of that. And, even imagination, sometimes the cards are against you. You've got to imagine that shot. If you're not imagining that shot going in the corner of the goal, you're going to miss. What else? Honor. Exactly. You got to play fair. They keep you honest. I think sports has so many life lessons that are directly applicable to the World Ready promise. And I will say I've noticed, particularly over your time, Mark, or since I've gone, the academics have incorporated so much of that into the classroom. And watching the students learn collaboratively, and see my third grader working with a group of 5 other children trying to explain and teach the rest of the class the math problem. It just shows how our core spirit remains, but we're advancing, and we continue to advance. It's exciting.
It's really true that there's a through line through our academic, arts, athletics experience about all these core values that you experience as students and that you bring back. You had a shout out to our core values. Of course, our other core value is optimism, and you need a lot of optimism in any athletic season.
Absolutely.
So you were all 3 season athletes. Mm-hmm. And Cheney, I know because we inducted you to Viewpoint's Hall of Fame last spring. You went on to play in college, right? Did you go on and play?
For fun.
Yes, you did. And Crystal, we saw your senior yearbook right before this session.
Yeah.
Weren't you named by your senior classmates Olympic hopeful?
Olympic hopeful and most competitive with Scott.
That's right.
Okay. And you were both most competitive.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay. Does that track to your lives post Viewpoint?
Maybe in some ways.
I think if you asked my friends or family when I play games, they would say it tracks.
Most importantly, when we ask your children, would they say you are most competitive?
That's a good one. I think that possibly. But, going back to the sports thing, and I was just thinking about my older son, Finley, is in 4th grade, and they're just starting the kind of sports program here, playing other schools. And they finished their flag football. He never played flag football, didn't know any of the rules. And watching him kind of go from 0 to having their games, and the whole team kind of learning within 3-4 weeks, learning a new sport and out playing against other kids. It was really special seeing that, and how exciting and that was for them as well.
Same thing for Kennedy in basketball.
Yeah.
I played basketball, so I really wanted my kids to play, and I signed her up in kindergarten, which in hindsight might have been a little too early because she dribbled the ball and it hit her in the face, and she's like, I'm not playing basketball anymore. Fast forward to 4th grade, she played here. She loves it. Now we're signed up for winter season, in a league outside of school, and it's just great to see them out there playing these sports.
That's amazing.
So young. And you think about, they're starting in 4th grade. They're going to go ideally through high school together with a lot of these other students. I mean, that's a really...
In 4th grade, they're already being trained to be 3-sport athletes. It's like that or PE. And you get an option, and then you got to start from scratch and learn a new sport. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
If we think about your lives post Viewpoint, we now our mission, we call our World Ready Promise, this notion that we're preparing students with exceptional readiness for extraordinary futures. How did your Viewpoint experience prepare you for your professional journeys in business?
Well, the World Ready portion, I can say, and I think it still holds very true today, is can be attributed to creating very well-rounded students that are experienced in a lot of different areas. So you have your sports, you have your academics, the band, and
you played clarinet together.
We did. We played clarinet together all the way through high school concert band. And even, I remember 8th grade, we had an exchange program with a school in Spain, and I did that. And, Nayus was my host student over there, still in touch with her. But, that got me abroad early, opened my eyes to whole, literally new parts of the world. I just really appreciate all the experiences I got that allows me to connect with a lot of different people on many different levels. And I think a lot of that still holds true today, and that they get exposure to a lot of different areas. And I think that's really important and very valuable.
I'd just say, obviously we talked about leadership skills that you develop in these different extracurricular activities, but while Viewpoint very much celebrates excellence and supports excellence, it's also a place which is okay to fail, and you're encouraged to try to have that growth mindset. And it's okay not to know the answer to every question, but it's about thinking about what are the right questions to ask, what is the right way to kind of expand your horizons. If something doesn't fit or feel right, can you make your own path? Can you create your own reign? And those type of life lessons, I think, massively beneficial for me professionally, personally, and something that I've taken with me, and hope to continue to do so the rest of my life.
And I think something else that Viewpoint's really good at, sorry, I just want to add on, is if you are gifted or really good in one area, they will help you propel forward in that. So if you are really good at something very specific, they will give you the tools and support to explore that.
Absolutely.
I remember that even from when we were here.
I mean, I think to myself, it's just as a parent, it's hard to guess what your kids may or may not like or be good at. The best thing I can hope to do is give them lots of opportunities to say, hey, what really clicks? And, having that kind of broad array of opportunities to get in at the ground level to then allows them to figure out what they really like, and then the support network to be able to promote and accelerate that.
Yeah.
Not to be redundant, but I think so much of it is the values and what I referenced before, and that Viewpoint teachers and coaches all believe in you, and when you have that support at your back, it gives you confidence. And Viewpoint's excellent at teaching the love of learning. And I tell my kids all the time, if you want to be successful and world ready, be curious, be hardworking, be optimistic. People want smiles, people want enthusiasm. I mean, if you go and attack a problem with that mindset, people are going to want to help you, and you're going to find success. And I think that's all about Viewpoint. I will say in college, for the first time, really, because I was a lifer here, I was on a team where the coach had a little different approach. It was almost like daring you to fail. It was rattling to me because I'd never, I threw one ball and you got the bullpen up, geez, thanks for the vote of confidence. But I think the 14 years of always being taught to believe in yourself, can overcome that type of adversity. So
that support culture that you experienced here traces to your work today.
I think in anything. I mean, I coach my kids today, and it's just the whole range of their teammates. You can just immediately see how children react to a supportive environment or screaming at them because they made an error, right? You see it all the time in Little League, and I think it's just something that Viewpoint teachers and coaches have understood from the beginning of time, and that's how you breed success.
Thinking about your children, you've all become parents, which is a life-changing experience. And we're in a world where there's a lot of uncertainty. You know, a child who comes into kindergarten, you know, will be graduating in 2039, 2040 into a world, who knows, you know, with AI and, you know, the way the world is changing. What led you to choose Viewpoint to educate your children?
For me, it goes back to that whole person education, that just being well-rounded and adaptable to whatever the world is. And it changes through your adulthood too.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that is a very good skill to have.
I completely agree. As we were just saying, you know, if you grow up happy, healthy, curious, and hardworking, good things are going to happen, right? And, you know, if you want to put a finer point on the kind of educational side of things, one thing I see playing out every day is, you know, an ability to embrace ambiguity. That there's not a monopoly on the truth. There's not a black and white. You need to be able to sort through an issue. You need to be able to question. And if you have those skill sets and you're kind of, you know, brought up in that, as the world evolves in any direction, you're going to be able to pivot with it and find a way to thrive.
This is very lofty for third and fourth grade. Are you seeing that in their experience?
No, but like the point is, it's, I think there is a degree of you can question,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not just memorize this. It's not just repeat with rote. It is, you know, this is how to think about a problem. Here's different tools and solutions for getting to this answer. And if someone has a different approach, kind of saying, oh, that's interesting and encouraging, okay, well, have you thought about this as well? It's additive rather than, you know, limiting and narrowing. I think that is the first step in the development, rather than necessarily having intellectual subordination amongst third and fourth graders.
I think you have been seeing our elementary math program, actually, the way you're describing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, my answer is more simplistic. I loved it here, and it worked out very well, and I feel very grateful to have attended Viewpoint, and there was no doubt in my mind I wanted to send my kids here.
Ditto. I think we'd be remiss not to mention how excellent the teachers and the coaches and the administration are, and how you really feel a sense of community here. And I feel very safe leaving my kids here. I feel like they're in a safe environment, physically and emotionally. And there's something very nice about being able to drop your kids off at school and not have to worry about their safety.
Absolutely. It's interesting. I do compare my childhood experience with some of my friends from college, and especially those that kind of grew up in, you know, Manhattan schools or East Coast boarding schools or other places where I feel like they grew up very quickly. And I'm sure they had great educations, but I felt like I got to be a bit more of a kid for longer and have a bit more of innocence. And as you said, it's okay to try things and fail, not worry too much about, you know, what the right thing to do is or how you will look. That made me happy and made me, you know, as Janie just said, you know, that's the recipe for success, is if you're able to be happy and you embrace it.
Yeah.
So a little bit of Viewpoint secret sauce, I think, that idea that we keep kids younger longer. Did you experience that? I thought I felt that when I first came to this school.
Well, I hit adolescence late anyway, so that was happening. Probably happening for my kids too.
But that notion that we can both prepare you for the future. You've talked about the opportunities here, which are really unparalleled, but it can be both a high-achieving environment and yet one that's safe,
Yes.
and where kids can be kids.
It wasn't a pressure cooker at all. I think that was perhaps a difference between some of my friends' experiences.
You talked about gratitude for your experience. Let's talk a little bit about giving back. Viewpoint's always been known for exceptional teachers. Any of you have a story about an educator who made a lasting impact on you?
I cannot pick one. There are so many.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. You know, Cheney mentioned Mr. Azar before. You know, he very much had a big impact. I had multiple years of math and physics classes with him, and really, you know, really left an impact. I also think of Miss Doherty, who was taught AP European History. It was the first advanced placement course I'd been in, and on a subject matter that I knew very little about when I first started the course, and I absolutely loved it. I also realized my essay writing skills needed to get to move up a few notches from where they were, and she was really helpful in helping me do that. And you know, becoming a clear and crisp communicator is one of the most important life skills. I feel that looking back now, you know, taking those steps and a little bit of the hard medicine was made a big impact.
That is so funny. We did not coordinate, but that is exactly, I would have said Mr. Azar and Miss Doherty for the same reason of AP Euro history. I don't know, is it still a rite of passage for the 10th graders? Because it was terrifying to go into that class. And I think my younger brother, well, I'm going to say it regardless if it's going to embarrass him, he was so stressed out about that class, we had to black out the windows in the bedroom. We shared a bedroom. Yeah. Because any light, and he couldn't sleep because of dealing with the intensity.
With Mrs. Doherty's class?
I know we said it's not a pressure cooker, but like that first class did have a lasting impression. But there were so many. I mean, I could say Mr. Buckley in AP Bio, and also my cross-country teacher who would run 100-mile races and just by example teach you what real endurance means, and like being able to push through when you do not want to take another step up that hill. And even from primary and lower school. I mean, I remember Mrs. Bound. I think she was my kindergarten, JK or kindergarten?
JK, I think.
JK. I mean, there are so many, and each of them, like I said, like they loved you. They made you believe for sure they loved you like their own children.
Mrs. Doherty was social studies chair for many years, taught that AP European history course to 10th graders until recently. She retired recently, and it actually continues as it's an AP world history course now in the 10th grade. So how do you, as parents and alumni, contribute to keeping the standard of excellence alive?
I'd say, excellence isn't just something that you achieve, it's something you have to fight for every day. And it's something you fight for personally, but you also, as a community, fight for. And I think, as I said before, being part of the community when I was growing up, with the benefit of my siblings and my parents being involved, I see that now, and I really am trying to give to the school my time and really promote all that it has for my kids so they want to participate more. And I'm hopeful that as they are growing and getting more involved in extracurriculars, they can one day be on the stage of the upper school, play or upper school musical or on a sports team, and have kids below them saying, wow, one day I want to be just like that. And it's passed along. It's a shared experience set. And I think, the more that it's not just a place you go to school, it's something that you're part of, everyone gives a little bit more and everybody tries a bit harder.
You all are this living reminder, certainly to me. I've spent a career in education, and I wasn't here when you were here, but I was in teaching. And so it comes home to me with you back here as parents that you're a connection directly to the school as it was. I always think this is a school that has an ethic of service. Did you learn giving back as students here?
I remember on the week of Thanksgiving, a lot of people are asking recently, do schools take that off? Do they not? When we were in school, you had school on the Monday, Tuesday, and the Wednesday was a day of community service.
That's still true today.
And it was something that, you'd go work in a soup kitchen, or I remember volunteering at a school, I think, for underprivileged children. It was something that was very consciously taken, in addition to whatever food drives or other things would happen ordinarily through the course of the year. It was a day when, right before you're meant to be giving thanks for good things you have in your life, you're actually putting it into practice.
Yep, I remember that too.
Do they still have Habitat for Humanity Day? I feel like that was an annual thing where we would go build houses.
I don't know that we do Habitat for Humanity, but we do Even in primary and lower, your children have been invited to something we call the Hour of Giving.
Oh, yes,
in
we
the
just did
fall
that.
and the spring. We had it just the other day. Middle school certainly does a big kind of support for the West Valley Food Pantry. And yeah, our upper school students next Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, will be out all across Los Angeles giving back. Were you aware of, who put the school here when you were students here? I think you might have been, because actually all your parents served on the board at one time or another. Isn't that right?
They have.
Yeah, that's right. I think I had heard stories, but frankly, when I was younger, I was on to the next thing rather than digging into the details. As when you get older, you get all sentimental.
Yeah, it's when you're attending a school, I think even when you're teaching in a school, you might not be aware of the role that philanthropy plays in supporting a school like ours. We're doing this episode around Giving Tuesday, and now your parents, maybe you have a better appreciation for what it takes to put the school here for the next generation. What are your thoughts as we look at Giving Tuesday? It's a day created to give back during the holidays. It's on December 2nd, and we're asking the community to join the movement by giving to the Viewpoint Fund, which is a fund that fuels excellence at our school. How do you think about giving to a school, honestly, where your children are being educated, where you're already paying tuition? How do you think about giving to the school?
I look at it as investing in the next generation of good leaders. And like we've been talking about today, I think Viewpoint does a good job of preparing people to go out there and lead for better, whatever that looks like.
I think that's right. I mean, a large portion of the annual budget is paid for through tuition, but to have stability, to have longer term thinking, to be able to have the luxury of saying yes when some amazing talent comes on the market that could join the faculty, but maybe that wasn't in the budget at the start of that year. The flexibility to make those decisions, that all comes from having an endowment. And endowments come from the parents and and the community, and it grows over time. And there's no such thing as too big or too small or the right time of the year. But I like Giving Tuesday insofar as it, by being a date on the calendar, it allows everyone to kind of stop and think about it and make time. And one thing I would also say is it's great that a lot of companies also are embracing citizenship, and a lot of people have ability to match. So if anyone does make a contribution, it's very likely that their employer might be able to match and double the impact of that. So I think that's really nice.
Yeah, Scott, you touched on a few different things. I'd make the distinction, just as I've learned more about it. Tuition actually doesn't cover our operating budget. So the giving to the Viewpoint Fund is like essential to our annual delivery of services to all our children. And there's lots of different uses for that money, obviously. I will say, as a member of the Finance Committee, we have a very sharp eye on where all that money goes. But part of what motivates me is a lot of it goes towards financial aid. And I do think it is, like, without question, the American dream to give your child the opportunity to have a Viewpoint education, because it truly changes their whole trajectory of their life. And I think, I know that I tend to focus on giving that supports financial aid, but it's all things. It's the beautiful facilities that my kids now enjoy. I was in a little rinky-dink trailer, and my son Henry just loves playing in the innovation space. And that comes from all of us. And so I think it's absolutely essential. And for those of us who feel such gratitude that the way Viewpoint changed our lives, and I will tell you, it's actively changing your children's life. I try to be objective. I obviously came in very biased, but every day I ask my kids, how's your day at school? And it's been 7 years now. I've never heard anything but great. And they truly thrive and they're happy, and I think it's super special. And I would encourage everybody to give on Giving Tuesday. The endowment, though, is separate. I mean, so the endowment, that's specific to, I mean, schools that have large endowments do have a tremendous advantage, because then as that endowment grows, the returns on that endowment can then further subsidize both tuition and financial aid and other projects. And we've made great progress on our endowment, but we started from a small base, but it's growing. And I'll speak on behalf of the board generally. Like, it is a high focus, and we're very bullish on the future.
That's great.
I think the first bequest to the endowment was probably during your time here as students, or maybe just a little bit before, which means that in just the lifetime since you were children at this school, the endowment has grown from, really from the very first gift to something that's almost $30 million today, where it's just beginning to make a bit of a meaningful difference in that budget. And you're right that the gifts to the Viewpoint Fund make a substantial difference, over $3 million each year, that contributes directly to the operating budget, and directly to our ability to recruit those talented teachers that are part of your children's experience. I loved looking at the yearbooks and thinking about the students you were when you were here at Viewpoint. What do you think you in senior year would say to you today?
Oof.
I think I'd say you're ready. Like, go out there and get it. Have fun in college. Work hard, play hard. Don't forget where you came from. But you're ready.
Yeah.
One thing that don't forget where you came from is a great one, because, as I said, is a lovely, nurturing community. But one thing I wanted to do was to go and see the world, and that took me to the East Coast, and then living in London for 15 years. And it wasn't until kind of you had kids and you gone full circle that you realized just how good you had it. And that there's, what's the expression, you always meet twice in life. Seeing so many other people that I knew from Viewpoint who are now also back as parents, and a lot of educators who are also still here, and also some students who are actively contributing to Viewpoint as employees and volunteer work. It's amazing. It's been such a large and meaningful part of so many people's lives. It must mean somebody's doing something right.
Yeah, it speaks volumes when people keep coming back or stick around for a long time.
18-year-old Scott would not have imagined Scott today as a dad here at Viewpoint School.
Oh, no, I liked it. I certainly would have not precluded that, but I think how warm it makes me feel just being part of that community is definitely, I was ready for the next thing at 18. Now I can be able to look back and say, wow, I had it good.
Man, I think I would say, great job. You married very well, and you.
Do we all need to say that?
Yeah. And your spouse, your spouse believes as you do in the importance of education, and is there helping them with the math homework and contributing to the excellence, and really trying to manage 3 current Viewpoint students through all the different opportunities that they're afforded. Like Crystal said, like, part of the amazing part of Viewpoint is any pursuit. Viewpoint can lift them to whatever height they want to go. So yeah, I'm pretty happy.
It's outstanding. It's schools really are made up of the people. You've mentioned some of the people who are still here, Mr. Czar, Mrs. Edelman, others who were here literally all the way since you were children here, others who've retired, and and then others who've joined since and who are part of your kids' experience. It's really part of a tradition that we can see in you, the leaders you've become, and then we can imagine the leaders that your children will become when it's their turn. Little speed round question. So we've already touched on Olympic hopefuls. Can you guess one another's other senior superlatives that you had in that yearbook?
Oh.
Good
Cheney, you
question.
and Scott had one in common.
Which one was that?
Is this, we were reading, is this the most likely to be president?
You were both named by your senior class most likely to become president.
Oof. Not nowadays.
Yeah.
No.
We need you.
And Cheney, you were also named best looking in the senior class.
Oh, wow.
Maybe best hair as well. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
There were
Or
only,
you, Chris.
there were only
You could have-
36 of us.
I think I was voted least likely to mature past 17, so hopefully I proved that one false. But maybe not at heart. Still young at heart.
No, I think that the words that 18-year-old self was saying to you are words you've really lived by,
Yeah.
aren't they? Well, you were named most likely not to match your clothes.
Yeah, my
What was
clothes,
that?
man. Do you
that-
remember, Scott?
I would not have called you out at all on that.
I think by the end it was just to make a statement of.
Did they change the uniform for you guys or no?
In high school,
We
it-
didn't
it,
have
like,
a uniform in
fell
high
away.
school. We had like dress code.
Dress code, yeah.
But
Just had
the
a
code
collared
didn't say
shirt
that you
or
had to
what.
match,
yeah.
apparently.
Some things
good times.
don't change.
Yeah.
as we've demonstrated here today. Well, I'm incredibly grateful, really, for your living the Viewpoint experience and helping us attract people to the school. I know, have brought both your own children, but also other friends and family into the school, and I thank you for giving the school to support. Thanks for sharing your stories, your memories, and your love for Viewpoint. I want to thank our listeners and viewers. As you've heard today, excellence here is generational. Schools like ours don't just happen. They happen because generations of families make them happen. People give their time, their talent, and their heart. If you're listening and Viewpoint has made an impact on your life, this is your moment to give back by making a gift to the Viewpoint Fund on Giving Tuesday, December 2nd. Every contribution fuels excellence in the classroom, on the stage, on the field, and in every single student who joins our school. So thank you so much for your time and your stories. This is On Point, Generations of Excellence.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
On Point is produced by Viewpoint School, an independent school in Calabasas, California, serving students in grades TK through 12. You also can find the On Point podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Viewpoint School channel on YouTube, and at viewpoint.org/onpoint.